But Department of Rehabilitation, that's who I'm here representing today. We have some team, and if you're on the Department of Rehabilitation team and you're in here today, tell us who you are and where you're in from, because I think we're all over with this, right? This isn't just our local area. Are we state of California, Sarah?
It was open to anyone because we're virtual, but I don't know where everyone's at.
Perfect. I love it. All right. Good to
And I
see
apologize,
everyone.
I forgot to update the date on your presentation.
You know what? Don't take the blame. Give it back to me because I should have been all over that stuff. So today is not March, or excuse me, May 3rd, 2023. We are in the future. So future Spencer is going to take this one on. So we're really excited. I'm excited to be here. I know some of the team that's on here is excited. We're going to help answer questions as well. So the Department of Rehabilitation, there you go. All right, Pasadena, that's what I'm talking about. The Department of Rehabilitation, we're here to create opportunities for individuals. Our goal is to advocate, to create more inclusive workforces across the state of California. Today at 1:30, we're meeting with about 300 hiring managers, EEO officers, recruiters to help them understand better how to hire people with disabilities. And if you don't think that's a big deal, it is a huge deal. And if you're an individual on here who knows about LEAP, that's the push. That's what we're pushing there. We're going to talk about LEAP. We're going to talk about the JEP, which are some of the things that we're going to talk about. Talk about reasonable accommodation. And a lot of times when you come into the state, you wonder, well, how's all that going to work? I've worked private. I came from the private sector, and you work in the private sector, and you know there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of resources. It seems like things move a lot faster. Well, a lot of the times it does. So let's jump on into the um, presentation and see what we have. Keep on going. So LEAP, Limited Examination and Appointment Program. So I'm going to put some pressure on some folks because Sarah did mention putting some emojis out there. I love emojis. If you've been to any of my or any of the presentations I've done with the team before, I always talk about the best emoji that I got cake the other day, which I thought was really cool. They must have just seen me after my winter suit, but I got a goat. And so anything you can do a quick search, see what your favorite thing is on there. But LEAP, Limited Examination and Appointment Program. So this is an alternative hiring path process into the state. If you're familiar with some of the other government programs, there's other. In San Francisco, we have a connection. It's called the ACE program. The federal government has a Schedule A, and those are all alternative hiring processes to get individuals with disabilities jobs. And so initially, LEAP was to help people get their foot in the door. But if you're here and you have a job today and you want to promote, we're no longer just saying, let's get your foot in the door with LEAP. We're saying, let's create opportunities, let's create pathways, let's create a space so that if somebody's an office technician, they can move into that SSA position. We have so many LEAP classifications now, or classifications that are under the LEAP umbrella, that we're excited to be able to push this with folks. So we'll go ahead and jump into the next set of slides. So the slides are going to be pretty quick. I know there's going to be, I don't know, I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of questions that are going to come through. So we'll ask a lot of, we'll answer a lot of the questions when we're done here. So the LEAP, uh, so there's several parts to LEAP. When you complete the LEAP readiness evaluation, so there's the big thing. If folks are on here and you've completed the state app, excuse me, the civil service exam, you probably know that it's a self-evaluation. You're giving information saying where you rank are for these questions. And I'm sure we just went over that with the last four presenters that were on, and you get yourself a score. Now, LEAP, the one thing that's different about LEAP is that you're taking a readiness evaluation. You don't get a score from that. Your evaluation is actually on the job. And as we mentioned earlier, the JEP, the job examination period, that's your evaluation. So you get to demonstrate your skills in front of that hiring managers. Once you're hired, once that hiring manager says we want to give you the tentative offer, they don't know. Hiring managers have no idea that a person's LEAP until after they go back to personnel. So personnel will come in, say, this individual is a LEAP candidate. They're not asking, they don't get information specifically to a disability. They just know that the individual is on the LEAP list. And that could be from gosh, several different things. It could be anything emotional, physical, vision, hearing, anything you can imagine. If you qualify for a LEAP because of that, those are the things. But your manager won't hear that. So you complete the readiness evaluation, you participate in the job examination period. So during that time, you're in the job examination period, you will be, again, demonstrating what your skills are. Every month, the hiring manager will come through and complete a report, and you and the manager are going to get a chance to look at that. If you're doing well, great. If you're not doing well, you're going to have the opportunity there to talk about that. So just as you would get a score with the civil service exam, that works out the same way with LEAP. Oh, great question. What is it, Elizabeth? You are rocking my brain right there. Yeah, we're going to get right into that. Um, when the hiring manager, if you don't pass the JEP or the job exploration program, it's the same that it would be if you didn't pass maybe the civil service exam. So you'll go back, you'll have that 6 months or so that you wait before you can reapply for that. And our goal with LEAP is to see that individuals do pass. And so if you're not connected with a Department of Rehab, or if you're not having a person over at Golden Sierra, SETA, or YOLO Works, or if you're other places in California, if you're not connected with somebody that can give you the supports, I would encourage you to do that. We don't want to see people not be successful. I qualify as a person, all right, well, I'm a person with a disability, so I qualify for LEAP as well. I've used LEAP in a couple different situations. One, I'm on a LEAP manager list, and I'm on the civil service manager list. And when they just recently changed a lot, you may have noticed that the SSA is a little different. The SSM1 are a little different. Some of the other um, uh, exams look different than they've looked in the past. And so I was struggling with trying to get, because I would time out. I would write everything and then I would time out. And somebody said, well, just copy and paste, and did that. And I would time out so many times. So I ended up taking the LEAP and then coming back, because I'm not going to let anything beat me. So I came back and got on the other list. But anyone that qualifies can utilize this. So if you want to go to the next, we're going to start answering some of the questions that are coming in the chat. So certification is something that Department of Rehabilitation, a qualified rehabilitation professional, can do. So as a counselor, so I was a counselor about 9 years, so I am qualified to provide LEAP certifications. You may have completed a LEAP certification with me. We can do them virtually. Most of our offices prefer somebody to come in. You'll bring in information, proof of your disability. You'll bring in your ID. They'll review that, and then more than likely, what will happen is they'll go to the back. They'll come on ECOS, which is a site that everybody in the state uses for hiring purposes, and then they'll connect your LEAP certification to your CalCareers account. So what we can, like I said, we could do this virtually, we could do it in person. Anyone who's a DOR job seeker is automatically eligible, but sometimes this tricks people. You don't have to be with Department of Rehab to be LEAP certified. So if you want a LEAP certification, you can come down to one of our facilities, one of our offices, anywhere in California. You'll have my contact information. You can reach out to me as well if you would like either a direct contact, or if you want me to help you do that. Pretty simple process, and I'm still able to do it. Yeah, so we're going to look at that document. We're going to look at that information. If you're in person and it's something obvious, such as a missing limb, then that'll qualify for you. The other things are if you're receiving Social Security benefits, not state but federal, an award letter will also automatically qualify you for LEAP. And then there's a link here. We'll probably, I think, Sarah, I'll send the updated. Oh, Diana, look at you. You're awesome. I'll send an updated PowerPoint so we can send it out to folks. Or at least I'll send you the document. I think I may have sent that so folks can use that. If you want to go to the next slide.
And I will say the DOR team, Joanne, is going to be in a booth tomorrow at the virtual, so they could potentially connect with her there and find out more. And if you're already registered, you could visit the booth now and get those links.
Is it Joanna Cummins?
Yes.
Oh my goodness! So if you go meet Joanna, you're gonna enjoy her. She is incredible. Joanne Cummins. She's wonderful. She may even be on here.
She should be in a little bit.
Okay, I
If
was gonna
not, we
say.
will promote for her. But
Perfect. No, that's exciting. Okay, so this is what a LEAP certification looks like. This doesn't ever have to go in. I don't know if this came up earlier. A lot of times folks will say, does my LEAP certification have to go when I'm applying for positions? It's different than a Schedule A. Schedule A, you're expected to send in a Schedule A letter, but with LEAP, everything comes across through your CalCareers. So as soon as you're LEAP certified, your LEAP record is on file, and that's what personnel can look at when they're going through your documents to see if you're reachable. I mean, some of the big points are when you're LEAP certified, you get to be at the top of the list. Same as if you're scoring a 95, you're going to score just as high with LEAP. And so LEAP, you're going to be eligible for classifications. If you apply for any of the positions, you will be reachable. But keep in mind, I mean, a lot of those lists have several hundred folks. And so the piece of networking, so if you saw somebody here today that you think is amazing and wonderful, connect with them on LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, then let me just blow your mind and say, jump on LinkedIn. Diana will tell you, I love to push everyone on our team, but then the job seekers as well, because I'm pushing out a lot of positions and resources. So this is what an example of a certification looks like. We can go to the next slide. So when you do, before you get LEAP certified, you need to have a profile. Anytime anyone comes in, if they don't have a profile with your social security number on that profile, then we're not going to be able to connect. Because as I mentioned, we go into the backside of the ECOS website, which is what CalHR and SPB, State Personnel Board, use for hiring information. And so if you don't have your social security, we have no way of connecting you to that. So complete your profile, complete an account, and make sure that everything you have on CalCareers is up to date. All right, next page. Oh, that's what she's presenting on. Brilliant. Good job. Very good. So as I mentioned, it's not a requirement. So if folks are saying, well, shoot, I've made a profile, so I'm sure my my Schedule A is on, my social security number is on there. It's not a required it's not a requirement that you put your social security number on anything. So if you want to be LEAP certified, we're encouraging you open up your profile and make sure you add the social security number to your profile. All right, next slide. Okay, this is kind of just the ideas of how to do it. So if you get to a spot, you go to contact information, you'll see a blank. I believe it's either one square or the three squares where where you would see the social security information. You'll put that in there. As soon as you update it, you are in and you're able to be LEAP certified. Next slide. Okay, additional information. So once you are LEAP certified, it's funny, I forgot these were on here. So once you are LEAP certified, this is where you go and find it. So you'll open up the additional records. Under LEAP record, it will say on file. If it says NA, not applicable, then it means it hasn't gone through yet. But because we're going to the back side of the website, we're able to see that happen pretty quickly. The only thing that happens, and if you think you're LEAP certified, but you're not seeing that update, reach back out to the office or DOR that completed your certification. And if there was a chance that your social security number wasn't updated and we were only able to get halfway, the completion of the certification was not completed. So go ahead, next slide. All right, and then just more questions, more information about LEAP is on our website. So if you click on persons with disabilities, it's going to jump up. It's going to show you more about the alternative assessment program, but it's also going to take you to the LEAP exams. And so the LEAP exams, if anyone on here has taken a LEAP exam, you'll know that it looks different than everything else. I think the biggest thing, just as probably the other told you today, is make sure you advocate for yourself. If it's asking you for a number of units in school or a number of hours worked by month or whatever that case is, make sure you pull every piece of information you have from education that you've taken either on a campus, online. We talked about metrics, using the information so that you are going to qualify for whatever positions you're going to meet the minimum qualifications. And that's it. So you can find the exams there. And next slide, maybe. All right. And then once you receive your results, you may begin applying. So this is with your exams. Once you complete your exam, it's going to say that you have completed the readiness evaluation and you are list eligible. That means you're reachable by the state of California. Either hiring managers or the personnel team will be able to find you on their lists. And then you get to start looking for work. All right, next slide. And I think we're pretty close to where we're going to go on to. Yeah. So here's my contact. A little easier. I'll put it in the chat before I leave so that you can contact me. Phone number that we're all using Teams now, so that follows me anywhere. I can't get away from phone calls, so feel free to connect with me. 9 to 5 is a really good time. but that's it. Yeah, Tracy, awesome. Good question. So we basically the term we've kind of pulled away and I think it's different people are going to probably tell you how do I want to say this so it doesn't sound like we're all using different information. So we used to really use that tier, that 1, 2, 3 tier. Reachable just means that you are reachable, that you've met the minimum qualifications to apply for a position to be considered for an interview and to be picked up by that hiring manager. So what it's doing is it's putting you up in that top tier. So as opposed to saying top 3 tiers, we're saying it's in that top tier, so you are reachable. On the civil service exam, you'll probably notice that you could score a 95, an 85, a 75. As long as you're above that 70 plus mark, and there's not a lot of individuals on that list, you're reachable. So the biggest thing here is that once you complete your LEAP exam, you are reachable for that position. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, and I think it basically with a LEAP certification, it just puts you in that category. And when he says reachable, it means that you have the ability to be in that pool. And typically, if you are, if you get a 75, you're bumped up to the 95 pool, which they take more from. Correct? Is
Yeah,
that
so then you're exactly, and that's the whole point we're looking at is that reachable piece. And so keep in mind that reachable means that you're going to be picked up. So there's a whole list, and that changes as people get jobs, as the 6 months are over, and people drop off the list. The list is constantly changing. So when you're up in that top tier, the idea is they're going to get a whole list of individuals and you can they'll search down and see okay who's the best fit. So it's a civil as we're civil service servants, we everything has to be done in order. I know a lot of times you hear a lot of stuff. People are like, "Oh, it's nepotism. I've got a neighbor, and they got their kid a job, and then they got their best friend a job, and then they got their husband, and their grandparents came back as a retired annuitant." And it can be that way. People you network, you do all that thing, but for the most part, we're pretty consistent on looking through all that information.
And then there was a question, does a LEAP candidate have to compete in the same interview process with regular candidates? So I don't like that word.
Yeah.
With non-LEAP certified candidates.
So we are both regular and irregular. I think all of us are. Well, maybe not. Yeah. So a person who's a LEAP candidate, so that's a great question. So in October 2020, and now I'm trying to think, 23, Governor Newsom signed a bill that would allow hiring managers to pull from a LEAP list only. Now, just because we're saying it's a LEAP list only, there are other individuals who are going to be on there. So folks who are on the civil service or on the LEAP will be able to compete for those positions. So keep in mind, the hiring manager does not know that you are a candidate who is utilizing LEAP for your exam. It's not until the hiring manager says to you, you're the person that we've chosen. We're going to give you this offer. And then once the offer is made, personnel will come to that hiring manager and say, okay, this individual is a LEAP candidate. So they're going to go through the JEP. So everybody is going to still compete. The point is that as you're in that reachable status, if there's 4,000 people on one of those categories, it's good to be reachable in there. And so to be in that top tier, that reachable point.
And we have a question. How soon can you take a LEAP exam if you don't pass?
Yeah, so that's the same way on both sides. So the LEAP, so it's pass or fail when you do a LEAP. And there's another one we actually go through a lot more information on the JEP and what that looks like. When you do the JEP, if you do not pass your JEP, so pass or fail, you will go back, and in most cases, it'll say on the job announcement the exam, how long before you can reapply. Majority of the time, it's 6 months, and then you can reapply. But that's the same way. If you were to score less than 70, let me think, 65, 70 on a civil service exam, that would be the same way. You'd still have that time before you can retake that test. So some are different. I would say majority of the time it's 6 months, but it'll say right there on the exam in the exam information when you go through that. Gosh, that's a good point. Maybe next time we come in, we actually go through the LEAP exam and talk more about that process.
I like it.
I love it. There's a lot of stuff. I see some veterans
Yes,
Question
I was gonna
here.
say.
Yeah, so veterans are preference as well. So veterans will actually be able to score higher on that. And so a lot of times, folks, that's a question we'll go to EDD. We work a lot with the VA. And we just encourage folks, to be perfectly honest, if you meet the minimum qualifications for the civil service exam, you could just take that. And you're going to qualify in one of those top tiers and you're going to be reachable. If you're a veteran and you're using LEAP and you qualify, so you're going to be in one of the top tiers no matter what. So veterans, I would say, continue to be on the veteran list. You're able to be on LEAP, you're still going to have the same reachable. I think the biggest thing is with all these exams and with all this stuff, it's the networking piece. Go to these events like we're holding tomorrow. Meet jobs, either hiring managers or recruiters that are there. Let them. What does customer service 101 say? You don't go around telling everybody how great you are. Customer service, everybody else is saying, "Oh yeah, Spencer, he did this and he's really good." So getting other people to fight for you and tell you how good you are. So for veterans, you can, but it's going to it's your numbers are still going to be the same. You're still going to be reachable.
It's exactly like the LEAP. Without the LEAP certification, your veteran status automatically bumps you up to that top category, as long as you have that passing. So again, if you have a 75 or 85, it's going to put you in that 95 group, because of your veteran status. So the only two groups that have that benefit would be LEAP certification and veteran status. You can have both if you would like, but it is not necessary to have one if you have the other to get to that top pool.
Correct.
And then we do have, once you are eligible, you are competing with everyone else. Yes, it just again puts you into that larger pool to, get into the interview process and make that leap into the actual next step. So state jobs are very hard. I'm not sure Fred covered this, but when you get into the category, you see a ton of job openings, but you also have all of these eligible names. So like the AGPA list is very, very long. So when they take a pool of people from that list, it might not include you, even though you've met all of the parameters for that particular job. You might not have even been pulled from that pool,
Because
which
there's
is
so many people that you're competing
unfortunate.
against.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even with the interview, but before we get to that point. And that's the reason too. I think a lot of folks when they come looking for state jobs, and I'm sure this is probably covered, a lot of folks look for that analyst track, OT, SSA, AGPA, SSM1, but there are so many classifications that are not under that track. I mean, even looking at some of the different ones like Covered California, Community Health, what is it, Community and Health, oh my goodness, Housing
As it
Development.
HUD, yeah.
Yeah, there's so many different ones and those ones, so that's where it comes tricky too, because if they have their own classifications that are not similar to what SPB and CalHR have created that all of us are utilizing, those may not be LEAP yet, but a person who's on the LEAP list um, will be reachable for those positions. So the idea is if you are not LEAP and you're interested in having this alternative process, this alternative hiring process to get into the state, I would encourage you to do it. And I'm going to be honest, it's not deep. It's not like Willy Wonka, and you've got a golden ticket, and you get to be the next one to go into the show. It just means that you qualify, and you're going to be competitive against other individuals across the state. So it's not individuals who have disabilities and don't have disabilities. It's against other individuals who are applying for jobs.
And then do you have to qualify for SSD to qualify for LEAP?
Yeah, no, good question. Yeah, no reasons for apology. So if you have Social Security disability and you have an award letter, that's automatic. You will automatically qualify for our LEAP certification, but you don't have to be. So you don't have to be um, a person who are utilizing DOR services. You don't have to be with state or federal disability. You are a person who has a disability that qualifies for the LEAP criteria, and you can get LEAP certified.